Start with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have a quorum. We have, 4 of us here and David Turner on the telephone. First item on the agenda, we need to approve the agenda. Kupka moved, Turner second. Discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Need to discussion possible action to temporarily reassign zoning weed commissioner duties, as there is a vacancy now with, Bob O'Coon's resignation yesterday. We have a couple of options under the Iowa code. These do have to be appointed positions. We have reached out to a couple. I was waiting for email back from public health. We were going to try to lump some of it in with Chris Barron's duties as a temporary role. Cause it has to be another county employee, I believe. Heather's done a little bit more research on this as far as who the duties can go to right now, or what we were doing was 15 hours a week for just zoning and weed commissioner, together combined. And the weed season hadn't been up yet, and Bob had mentioned that it was getting to be more than 15 hours a week. And so, whatever we do moving forward, we'll have a little bit of discussion after this about what the future looks like, but in the interim, we need to figure out a way to get things moving forward, because we have to have one and we have permits coming and stuff, so. So speak to it.
Has anybody talked to Chris? I didn't get a chance, all right.
Yeah, I called him yesterday and he's willing to do it in the interim.
I'll make a motion that we, give the sanitary and the temporary weeds and zoning.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Not all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, David.
Phone delay.
Motion passes. We can discuss what that looks like in the future. I just wanted to reiterate that there were more hours that were needed. And so as we, for somebody else might need, particularly with more lawsuits coming in and permits and needing to have those hearings, coming up, that might take a little bit more time to organize those and get somebody up to speed. And so I think that will, by having a vacancy, I think it automatically triggers. I don't think we necessarily need a motion, but we need to post it, just to depend on if we want to have 2 positions or 1, or, you know, if it makes sense.
That's what I was gonna ask, if we need to start getting it posted.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that we need to right away. We can work with Paul on that,
Okay.
to get it posted. I think it's still probably a part-time position, just not,
It is.
just not 40 hours a
So
week.
how many hours is that first part-time person before it goes to full-time? Is there is there a number amount, Michelle, or?
There is,
Or Karen, or-
they cannot have 30 hours per week.
Okay, and then it becomes a full-time position?
Well, it becomes eligible for benefits, health insurance wise.
Okay,
I don't know the full legality in and out as far as if that constitutes full-time for anything else, but I do know for the Affordable Care Act, 30 hours average becomes, eligible for health insurance.
okay.
Do we wanna put a deadline on, apps, or when the post is over? I mean, it's gotta be, does it have to be posted for so long?
So we post it till Phil.
Yeah.
there is a minimum.
I think it's a 10-day minimum, but then until filled, it leaves it so that if in those 10 days you don't find somebody, you can still.
Okay, so last time we had a group of three people coming for interviews. When do we want a deadline for setting up interviews? I guess would be a better question.
Oh, I see what
You know what I
you're,
mean?
I see what you're saying. I see where you're coming from.
It just depends how it go, you know, I mean, I'd say interim, just give it to Chris, he can kind of feel out how the position is. Cause I think the hours have been so all over the board, like it's 15 now, I think with Tavius and Todd, it was different, like everybody's had different hours, you know, everybody has different speeds they work at things, different, you know, ways that they do things, so we just don't know until we get someone in there just looking at it.
I mean, for me, I had added 10 hours to it in my mind. And I don't know that would be enough. I'm not sure, but I mean, we're just gonna have to kind of let the interim, like she said, fill in and just kind of feel it out and see what it's gonna take and then just get some feedback from him and try to figure out what we wanna do, I imagine.
Well, a lot of options, I think the interim's the most important thing for now, and then, yeah, figure out if we're gonna hire or pull someone else from the county to help, or who has free time, or what to do, you know, so.
I know it was mentioned yesterday that someone was interested in maybe just the weed side of it, correct?
Yeah, so we could split
We
it
can
apart
split it
possibly,
apart
or
and save.
It was at one time.
Was it really?
County do it all
So
sorts
was
of
there two
different
different
ways.
people doing that or was it just, was like,
It's two different people.
was like the road clearance guys doing it or no?
It was,
Dirk.
and before Dirk was an older gentleman, a farmer from over yonder, Hines? Yeah, no, it's been a separate person.
Okay.
did they work for the road department?
They did not, no. And I believe it was Dan and I and Bill that we combined them and we saved a couple thousand on the weeds.
Okay. So the weeds is just basically a complaint to people call in with a complaint and then it's checked out. Is that how that works?
That's how I would do it.
Okay.
I mean,
They're just physically out driving on and looking and.
they could be, but I mean, that's kind of a waste of time, I would think.
Yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
think only when they got the complaint.
When he got the complaint, they go
Right.
check. Yeah.
Where did the complaints come into?
Neighbors.
Where do they go to? Like, who do they go?
Just a minute, hang on, Dave. Just a minute,
One
David.
sec.
They go into Dirk at the cell.
Okay,
Directly.
Okay.
Go ahead, David.
So why can't people going out and driving around cleaning up shrubs and all that kind of stuff, why can't one of them be appointed as the weeds person? That way they can see and they can also take complaints.
Well,
I don't know that would work.
and we ran into problems because apparently Tammy said that you can't get paid two different entities in the county. That's why Rod Calder was actually picked for this zoning commissioner originally. And they came up with the deal that they couldn't, because he was getting paid on the road department, he couldn't get paid as a zoning and
It
weeds.
has to be overtime.
There hadn't been overtime. There's an issue with having two pay periods.
It would be the fact that it's two jobs within the county, and if he's putting in over 40 hours, that would be overtime. If he's not putting in the 40 hours, then is he taking away from his job with roads to do the other? So it becomes pretty complicated in there trying to do that.
Interesting.
Our sheriff doesn't do much very often, so maybe we could talk to him and doing it.
You have to do what, a minimum of 30 hours, right, to the state sheriff?
3
hours a month.
What'd you say, Casey?
a month.
3 hours a month, minimum.
No, 30.
Oh, 30.
30.
I do believe that might have had to do also with the fact that he was union. Because that was, the roads is a union position.
Yeah, so probably we saw it too.
I don't think he's union though anymore.
Yeah.
He might be, is he?
Yeah.
Not many of them are anymore.
Well, but I mean, even if he's not paying
He's
dues,
represented.
he's still a union member because they are a union.
Yeah,
And he's still covered by the union and he's not paying us.
but you're right.
Because
I
after,
don't say that very often.
well, after I said that, I was thinking, but we didn't, Dirk was doing it. So I think it had more to do with the union position probably.
No.
But I would still question with Paul before we did something like that to be sure, because
I don't think that's a good idea to do.
No,
on a payroll side, I prefer you don't.
Could it be a seasonal position? Since it's season,
It could be. We don't grow.
That's true.
we hire seasonal lawn workers or? So it's an appointed position, could it be a seasonal, permanent seasonal position? Just a thought, maybe it might be good for somebody who's retired who likes to work in the summer. For a kiddo coming back from college or something. So I think the posting, it'll be interesting what that looks like to post for the job, but I think that we got some options, I think that are good.
I think we ought to just keep it posted as together.
Yeah.
That way we can keep the cost down a little bit with,
Yep, if we can.
I mean, I think that's why Dan and I and Bill put it together to save a couple thousand on the weed side. And I think if we can get it posted and have a farmer or somebody.
And maybe it'll come down to the fact that we get an applicant that doesn't want the weed side of it, and then we can address that too. I mean,
Mhm. Try putting both for now and
yeah, I mean, there's multiple ways of doing it, I feel.
Like dirt to a guy.
Look at that.
Good luck with that.
But we'll get it posted and, I think we have some good options and posting it together is fine. That having an open mind if somebody that does have the ability to do both.
Well, Kurt should have some experience with weed.
I do. I was the original.
Oh,
Eddie Vestine and I.
Yeah.
Good old Eddie.
we'll do that. We'll work with Paul. But for public comments, yeah, one public here.
I'm not union, by the way.
Is anybody online that would want to say anything?
I don't have anybody saying anything. We have people in line, but nobody's.
Okay.
who else got
You good,
comments?
Mike?
Well, I had one question.
Okay.
Mike Lindsay in Gladbrook, Iowa. You mentioned public health. Can you tell me why qualified CEO you had resigned? Shannon Zotter
Yeah,
as director. Was it because she found a better job or was there another reason?
it was a little bit of both. I had a conversation with her. She was kind of just tired of being under the gun. She's been under a gun. Oh, Department of Health has been under the under the gun from the other entities for quite some time. So and then she found a real nice job with the state.
Oh, she was an outstanding.
She was, yep,
She was.
yep, she was, and, we actually on the board with her, and Casey also, she was upstanding, she was great.
Then may I have one other comment?
Sure.
Weed commissioner is a seasonable position.
Yep.
Mhm.
For sure.
In the wintertime, don't have weeds. Correct. Very short chapter.
Yeah,
And in the past, it was mainly dealing with the contact of the person with weeds.
Yep.
And a method of removing and the involvement of the sheriff's department
Mhm.
when you provided notification. Because sometimes individuals are very, very negative towards the weed commissioner.
Mhm.
And, I think Kurt, you mentioned about finding a farmer retired.
Yeah.
That's what, back in my day, which is a century ago, that's what we did, the weed commissioner.
Mhm.
yeah,
And I always wanted that weed commissioner to wear a big black sweater with a shotgun.
Yep, that was the qualification.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree with you. It is a seasonal deal.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that's probably why they combined them, what they did to help save money and or, because the winter time's slow.
And also the weed commissioner had a second name, that was Colonel Bull Thistle.
Bull, yeah. Bull thistles were it was the reason Bob Gumbert got the weed, what's it called? We just,
Commissioner?
no, at the road department,
Clearance or?
road clearance. He created that. And that's what I was just talking about, myself and then, Eddie Vesley was on that originally. And the bull thistles at that time, this is 25 years ago, they were easy, they were out of control and they were big, yeah.
We also formed at that time, called the Weed Busters in Tama County. You might not be aware of that.
Uh-uh.
That was done back, with John Adams as auditor, and I think it was Dave Quinlan, county extension. They hired 4 inches instead of spraying the ditch, to walk the ditch
Oh,
and spade out any weeds. Of course,
Mhm.
not thinking of the liability of it.
yeah,
We got by, we
Yeah.
all had to do our best, and we went section by section.
is that right?
And, it received a lot of national publicity at the time,
Really?
but it only lasted 1 year.
Yeah,
And I retired from the board, so it
yeah.
went down.
Unfortunately, in this day and age, we probably wouldn't find anybody to walk ditches anymore.
No, it's your 4-H.
Yeah, oh, yeah, okay.
Contributed.
Contributed to their 4-H. I got you, Yep,
It worked.
yeah. Yeah.
John Adams, you're going back a little way. Anybody else on that? No, nothing. All right, we'll close the comments here.
I do